Welcome to this new episode of Overheating. In this one, I hope we can put the steering column back in the car, as well as the new-ish steering box and the freshly rebuilt rack joint, which I got in the mail yesterday. And without further ado, let's go to the shop. So, in the last video, you heard me blabbering on about how my rack joint problems were causing the steering shaft to wobble and rub on the shift tube right there. And as it turns out, that was blatantly false. This is a spare column out of a stick shift car, so there's no shift tube. But it's still the same principle. If you remove the steering shaft, you will notice that there is some sort of plastic bushing right there. And I believe that's what keeps the steering shaft centered and not rubbing on the shift tube. Or in this case, the, I don't know, outer tube. Because that's not a shift tube, because it's a manual car. So anyway, now I have to figure out how I could replicate this bushing here. Because I don't believe it's being made. So I guess this is going to be this episode's most intriguing quest. So I'm kind of at a halt on the bushing problem. I went to the store and I couldn't find any PVC piping that would substitute the bushing. So I figured I'd tackle this this problem here. First, this is rusty on both sides, so I'm gonna wire brush it and paint it just to keep it nice and sealed. Well, I think it's gonna make it easier to keep sealed if it's painted smooth and rust free. So I also bought some rubber mat, I guess, and I'm gonna replicate those gaskets. I think it's pretty much the same thing that used to be there. Wait. It's this kind of mat here. So I'm gonna cut the new gaskets out of this, and should work nice. So I've been grinding down around the firewall, and what I'm noticing is there's two layers. So as you can see, there's a lip here and a ridge, and then the outer layer of the firewall. So what I've been grinding down was actually a thick layer of sealant that would prevent the water to get in between those two layers. So once this is all painted up and nice, I'm gonna have to come back with the column installed and reseal everything with, I don't know, maybe urethane. Let me show you the other side. So our column gasket is going to go around here, but you still need that sealant on the outside to prevent the water from getting in between this plate and the real firewall. So anyway, I'll keep grinding a little bit, clean up the surface with acetone, and maybe lay down some primer. I think it'd be nice if I laid down some primer today, and tomorrow just a solid oil-based paint that's gonna last. Alright, so the primer is on, and I'm gonna call it quits for today, because I've been at this for 3 days straight. So just gonna go enjoy my Sunday evening and relax. Ow. Oh, I just hit my head on the hood. Ugh. So yeah, it's not pretty, but I'd rather have that than rust. So once it's painted black, it's gonna look a little better, although the black will never match this patina. So anyway, I'll let you know when I've made progress. Remember when I said I'd take it easy and enjoy my Sunday evening? Yeah, I ended up replicating this gasket out of the material that I had left, and I also decided to take my neutral safety switch apart and clean it, because like a lot of Fords in those years, you have to lift the shifter up in park every time you want to start the car, otherwise it just doesn't work, and that's not how it's supposed to be. So I just cleaned it up real nice, and if I have to buy a new one, I'll feel better because I've at least tried to save it. So I'll take it I'll put it back together, put it back on the column, and call it a night. So after I said I'd call it a night, I of course decided to go with my buddy Martin, who fabricated this nice bushing out of a piece of PVC coupling and a copper pipe. So we stuffed the copper pipe inside the coupling and machined the inside of the copper in order to augment its diameter so that the steering shaft would turn nicely in there, not rub too much. And after that, we just hammered the bushing inside the column, and it seems to work great. I'm gonna add a little bit of grease just for nice, and we'll see how that goes. Now, I did build this brand new gasket here out of rubber, but I was missing material to replicate this one, which is basically just packing foam. It looks like packing foam, but I couldn't find any for a week, and so I decided to go around Canadian Tire, and I found this nice mat that you put under your gym equipments, and it's actually perfect for the application, and it looks just it feels just like the original material, although this one is quite a bit squished down. And right now I'm just about ready to go install the steering box, and then we'll try to pop the steering column in. As you can see, I got that area painted pretty nice. Of course, it's not showroom, but the point is to keep it sealed, so I think it's gonna do that just right. And I'm now coming to the realization that this would have been seam sealer back in the day, and since I didn't do that before painting, now I think I'm just gonna run a bead of silicone around the edge and call it good. But anyway, that's not what we're doing now. I'm gonna try installing the steering box single-handedly while filming, so let's see how that goes. It's time to break out the tiny little tripod thing. The rag joint is officially installed. Now, I didn't show you the other side of the firewall. Here it is, all painted up. What we're looking for here is just a seal right around that edge on the rubber gasket. So that's gonna be
the main challenge with this. I might have to find another material and try several ones just to find the right fit, but for now that's what it's gonna be. So I think this is going to take a couple hours of finagling and adjusting until everything fits just right. As you can see, every bolt is loose right now. And I haven't lined it up on the rag joint, I believe. Let me turn on the light here. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna play with it and keep you updated. I think we might be able to drive this today. Knock on wood. Okay, this thing is back in for good, I think, maybe eventually. But we have steerage. So now I have to connect the lines and put the pitman arm back on. Hopefully it goes smooth. There you go. Wow, incredible. What a hurdle. I hope I can go to that show tonight. Jesus. Anyway, see you later. Okay, let's try and get these things lined up here. I can tell I'm gonna have to turn the steering wheel a little bit to the left, I think. Just a little bit. Yep. That's gonna be fun. There you go. How about now? There we go. Nice. So now I just tightened that with my big ass ratchet. No, ouch. Anyway, you get the idea. So all that's left to do is to reconnect those two power steering lines, and I will bypass the cooler, which is held on by zip ties. So let's go. Alright, so like I said, I reconnected the lines. I deleted the cooler. I also connected the shift linkage over there, and I'm gonna fill the power steering up. Hope for power steering. I have no idea if any of what I did will work, but we'll see, because it's 5 and I want to be at that show at 6. This is my last quart of ATF. I was getting all bummed out because I did all this on a Saturday and it's 5 and the store just closed and I was out of ATF, but I managed to find 2 more quarts that I had stashed around, so we might get this car running today. So I've showered the cars off the jack stands and God, is it low to the ground now. So anyway, I'm gonna go to the gas station. I haven't started the car yet. Once I'm at the gas station, I'll check for any leaks, tighten the lug nuts, and fly to the meet.
It's not the meet I intended to go to because that one was in Montreal, but a meet's a meet, so it's a compromise. Let's hope it all goes well.
There's a lot of smoke, and the shifter is not right. Power steering's great though. Something's wrong because it's smoking like hell. There's definitely a lot of oil on the exhaust, but something else. Oh, I'm dripping really bad. Oh god. Okay, going back in. Whoops. Well, let's just take it for a ride. The steering's great, like actually, but something's leaking really bad. Let's go home before I catch on fire.
So I did end up going to that meet. The leak was pretty bad, but only when my steering wheel was turned, so as long as I went in a straight line, it was fine. And I really had fun over there, meeting people and finally getting Toothpick back on the road, although it wasn't perfect yet. So I'll let you know what happens on the future episode of overheating. And hopefully we can get that steering box, that original one, rebuilt and reinstalled in the car soon enough. Thanks for watching.